When the 2016 NFL Draft kicks off, it'll be the 10th together for General Manager Kevin Colbert and head coach Mike Tomlin. During the previous 9 drafts, they've made 76 picks, many of whom turned into the players who helped the team win 2 AFC championships and 1 Super Bowl. This continued a philosophy enacted when Chuck Noll became the coach in 1969. To have that kind of continued success, the men involved must have a relationship that goes beyond football. They must have a relationship built upon a genuine respect for one another, not only as professionals, but as people. Here's a chance to hear about the Kevin Colbert-Mike Tomlin relationship from the 2 men themselves. Down in the owners' meetings, Coach, you referred to you and Kevin as an old married couple. Why did that analogy come to mind?
Just, I guess in the big scheme of things in terms of what we do, we've both been in our jobs an extended period of time, and we've done it in the same place for an extended period of time. So I'd imagine that we're probably getting up there in terms of tenure, not only as individuals, but as a couple.
Do you agree with that? Do you feel like an old married couple with Coach Tomlin?
I guess so. If you factoring or equating that to comfort with each other and what he likes, what I like, what the organization likes. And I think we understand that collectively, and we try to work toward that goal.
I see you guys in the building every day. I know you're together, you travel to pro days together. Are you guys ever not together outside of football?
Oh, a lot. I mean, Coach is chasing his kids around. I'm chasing grandkids. So we're in 2 different styles unless we happen to be at the same high school event, because I went to the same high school that his son goes to, and now we share some things along those lines off the field. So in general, no. I mean, we usually go our separate ways at night, but he's usually sharing his events with me as I am with him as to what we did the night before.
Is that healthy for the relationship, get that separate time since you are together probably more than you see your families, things like that?
I don't know that it's a decision for us either way or not. At the end of each day, who I have to drop where and take where and pick up kind of dictates my day, and has for a few years now, and probably will be in the foreseeable future because of the age of my kids. And it's funny, over the course of the years together, he has prepared me for what my wife and I are going through right now with our kids, because obviously he and Janice have lived it, and we feel it. We're in the midst of it. He often laughs as I scurry out of here to pick a kid up or drop a kid off because he's been there.
Did he give you any good carpooling tips then?
No, but he has given me some good parenting tips that every now and then I become aware of. I'll come in and say, yeah, remember that point you made several years ago? I'm there now.
Kind of surreal, I'm sure.
Oh, it is.
Biggest tip I ever gave him was just do what Kia wants.
I'm sure Kia likes that one.
Absolutely.
As does Janice. Do you guys remember your first draft together? What that was like, kind of getting to know each other? Maybe you were here first teaching him the Steelers way and kind of just feeling each other out on how to come up with the board, the decisions?
I remember it as being an education for both of us. Coach was coming in new to the organization, much like I did with Coach Cowher when I came in from outside, and Bill had been here. It was my job to educate Mike on what we do here and what the Steelers do and what the Rooneys do and what they like. But I also had to open myself up to different ideas as I tried to present ideas when I came on board. And I think that whole first year, it was a learning process for both of us.
What did you bring from your past experiences in Tampa, Minnesota, places like that?
I think for me, at least my perspective or attitude regarding it was my job to learn the Steeler way, the Steeler approach. I made a conscious effort to do more listening than talking. Obviously, I had an opinion regarding the players and things of that nature, things that are very much a part of my job. But just in general, I was more interested and more in tune with taking in information as opposed to giving it.
You guys admitted you don't agree on everything all the time, which is normal. So is there a good cop and a bad cop when it comes to decisions, or even like interviewing players, or how does that dynamic work?
I think it's both.
You're smiling.
Because it just depends.
It depends on, and it really does. I mean, there'll be times when, you know, for lack of better terms, I have to be a jerk. There'll be times when he has to be a jerk. You know, I learned a long time ago, you're paid to have an opinion, but you better be able to back the opinion up. And if you have information that can, you know, substantiate what you're trying to get across, and you can present it in a professional manner, I think that's what we try to do with each other. But there'll be times when I may get moody, he may get moody, but we understand that and respect that, because if he has a certain passion for a player or I have a certain passion, I don't need to force that on him or he on me, but we need to collectively talk about it and discuss it and have real information to back up what you're feeling. And I think that's what we've been able to do to, again, collect it, not just us two, but the whole room. There may be times when the scouts will agree with what coaches feel, and I may be agreeing with what his coaches are feeling. It's not necessarily coaches and scouts against each other. We all just kind of, and again, it's a healthy discussion, but it's a discussion.
How does it work in terms of you have your staff, you come together after the season's over to prepare for the draft?
I think more than anything, we try to make a conscious effort to come on board something that's already underway with Kevin and his staff of scouts. These guys, when they leave Latrobe, they're starting the process of preparing for the next draft. And by the time we become a part of the process, they spent several months and have written several reports and have done a lot of legwork. I think more importantly than anything else that we're getting on a moving train, if you will, so our guys come on asking questions, gathering information, finding out what it is that we can do to further develop the portfolio that's already very much in development on each individual guy. So more than anything, it's about our guys coming alongside and assisting in a process that's already begun.
When you and your staff are out during the season, you know, visiting the college games, do you ever call them and tell them, hey, I just saw so-and-so, like really liked what I saw, let's keep an eye on him type deal? No,
because they're busy trying to win games. During the season, their focus is on the season. So we wait, we get as deep as we can, and once the season ends, and then we begin that formal process of catching them up and plugging them into the draft.
Is there anything you guys have learned from each other through these 10 years?
Wow.
Not even just football related?
Man,
tons.
Yeah. Man, probably too often to count. You know, he has a job as a general manager, but he's been a talent evaluator in this league for over 30 years. And it's funny just the nuggets you pick up in general conversation on a daily basis when we're traveling or we're going through this process. There's no substitute for that experience and that know-how, and oftentimes he's dropping those nuggets and he probably doesn't think anything about it.
I think that the difference is that we're a different age. We're different eras, so to speak, and as Coach mentioned, I probably have given him some ideas about, you know, what's coming down the pipe with his children, because I've gone through that with our children. But he also keeps me informed as to what's going on now.
Do you guys feel lucky that you have the relationship, you work for an organization where we don't read about, you know, a rift between Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin? It just seems that you guys do your jobs, there's no outside noise, and that's not part of this process.
I think it's a culture that we both are fortunate enough to work in. I mean, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers. It started with the chief, it went to Mr. Rooney, it continues with Art. That's what they demand, not only of the football end, it's the whole organization.
Yeah, I think the thing that I consciously or continually think about in regards to it is we work very hard at creating that culture with the positions that we have, but we also just generally receive the benefit of being a part of it too. And that's the legacy end of it that he's referring to. That trickles down from the Rooneys and specifically the chief to his son Dan and on to the rest of us. We have a responsibility as general manager and coach to cultivate that environment, but while we do that, we benefit from being a part of it as well.